Okay, welcome everyone. This is Sarahjoy. And I'm just going to get a couple settings on my computer sorted here. And then I'm going to send you to full screen so I can see you. And I've got Rebecca in class today as our co-host, so she can answer questions if something comes up in the chat. I won't be able to read that while I'm teaching, so she is our resource for that. And I'm recommending today that you would have a chair for your practice. It's always funny to see the dimensions. Like that chair looks very tiny from here when I'm looking at it on my computer monitor. It looks like a chair you'd put in a dollhouse. So you don't need to have the chair right away, but we'll use it in a short while. So thank you so much for being here. We all need connection and yoga and breathing, camaraderie, laughter. So I'm looking at you there. I know the camera's over here and I should look at you right there. And then I would be looking at the camera, you'd see me looking at you, but you're actually over there. So thank you for being here. Okay, let's take a comfortable seat to get started, whatever that is for you. And you can rest your hands in your lap. We are going to use some pranayama to begin class. So let yourself rest into your physical body for a few moments before we start moving the breath about. And you might begin, since you've been coming day to day, some of you every day, some less often, but begin with a memory of your body recognizing you've been here in this online yoga community. You've been making a dedication. Even if today is your first class, it can be the memory that you're going to have this afternoon. So install the memory of your dedication, your commitment to being here. And if you have been here for several days in a row or several weeks, and let those memories also accumulate to be this sort of goodness in your heart, a kind of nourishment, as when taking vitamin D every day, then you have greater health as a result. Having yoga every day is improving your health. And as you foster this body memory inside, sense it as something that goes deeply. Know that your organs are getting the message, the muscles get the message, not just the mind, but also your senses. The places in you that are courageous are getting this body memory, and the places in you that are vulnerable or overwhelmed. And then allow your breathing to deepen, so you're sharing this message, this body memory, through all regions of your body. In fact, you can think of the breath like an ambassador that brings this forward. The other day I was talking about the spinal column as if it were a river, and you had this river boat, and you're going from the base of the spine upriver to give a message to all of the villages and the villagers alongside the river. And so let today's message be that here you are for this dedicated practice. You're on your path. You will be nourished. Let the villagers, even the most outlying villagers, like your fingers, your toes, all the nerve pathways can send the messages to let your entire inner body know you're here as a dedication and a renewal. And then interlace your fingers and imagine that you're holding like a small meditation bowl in your lap. And I want us to just choose one word for yourself on what that dedication means for you today. And then as you inhale, lift the inhale and the breath and this word up towards your heart. And then exhale and push forward through the heels of your hands, pushing away that which would intrude on your practice. Now inhale, raise this quality from your heart to your throat, up through your mind and beyond. And then exhale and clear the windows of your mind by sweeping the arms wide. I know that's metaphorical, but it works. And interlace your fingers again. Here's the inhale from the base of the belly up to your heart. And then exhale, push forward. Inhale, raise your arms. Let's try the exhale through the straw. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, push forward, push away that which would intrude on you right now. Inhale, raise your quality up even more from your heart to your throat to the crown of your skull. And then breathing like a straw. Clearing the windows of the mind. One more time, inhale. And bring this quality upwards into your heart. Push forward that which would distract, intrude, or hijack you. Inhale, rise up. And then with your hands clasped, just resting, imagine the dozens of others setting an intention, having a quality of their own, infusing their body, their mind, their life, and therefore their relationships, just as you are right now. So imagine yourself in this really intentional, vibrant community right here. And bring your hands together at your heart, and we'll start with the chant that acknowledges that we're here together. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vivishavai, Sana Bhavatu, Sana Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vivishavai, Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vivishavai. Om Shanti Om. You may bow your head to your heart and release your hands. So we're singing this afternoon, that is at the second chakra where you had the hands clasped. Sahana Bhavatu. If it were at the heart chakra, it would be Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavavai. So the notes of the scale actually matter, and my teacher, Deobrat Mishra, will be talking more about that tonight in the 8 p.m. session. But that is to say, where you sing and the body gives you access to certain aspects of the chakra system. And that was your second chakra there. So please come up to standing and step onto your yoga mat facing the short side of your mat at the front. Okay, so it's our intention to address the second chakra this afternoon, which is not the digestion chakra, it's the chakra for where we house our deepest longings. Our deepest cravings are also housed there, but yes, our deepest longings as well. So when you take a stance, place your feet so they're hip distance apart and parallel. And we're going to use the clasp of the hands again. We're also going to be tippy-toeing, so you're going to see me go up on the screen. You won't be able to see my feet or my hands at the top and bottom of the screen, but you'll see the movement. So please clasp your hands. Now as you inhale, push down through the heels of the hands, then rise up to your tiptoes and up with your arms. You might recall the playfulness of tippy-toeing as a child. The second chakra is associated with the period of toddlerhood in our lives. When you exhale now, push out to the sides of the room and slowly lower your heels so that your heels reach the floor as your hands reach Anjali Mudra. Again, inhale, take the heels of your hands down. Rise up high to your tiptoes at the apex of the inhale. Stay here for the exhale and draw the low belly in towards your sacrum. Enjoy another inhale. And then exhale, sweep the arms wide. Lower your heels and your hands to complete. At your exhale, pause. One more time, we're just syncing up here. So inhale, rising up. Imagine the element of water from the second chakra fountaining upwards. With this inhale, do the same. So from the second chakra, reach upwards through the line of the spine to the heels of your hands. And then exhale and slowly take the arms wide and lower your heels to the floor as your hands meet at your heart. Now we'll take that to the full sun salutation. So this time, inhale the hands down, wide and up, and let the arms be a part of the fountaining upwards. Please tiptoe. And then exhale, lower your heels slowly as you come down to Uttanasana, trusting that gravity will help you to find your way. Reach for your 2 yoga blocks. And as you inhale, glide your heart forward like a river going from the belly past the crown of your skull. And then exhale to bow towards your legs, more like a waterfall. Again, inhale, glide forward like a river from the deep low belly to the crown of your skull. And exhale to bow deeply towards your legs, more like a waterfall. Inhale, begin to fountain upwards and start raising your heels as soon as you have the confidence to do so. You're at the high point of your movement at the top of the inhale. And then exhale, arms wide, hands towards the heart as your heels, hands, and exhale complete. Again, now we're going to add the lunges. So inhale, rise up to your tiptoes. Great. With your exhale, sweep the arms wide, lower your heels really slowly. You are exercising your feet, it's true. And then inhale, glide your heart forward. And now exhale, step backwards with your left foot. And let's keep the left heel lifted. And on the inhalation, rise up to your crescent lunge pose. Okay, good. Now I'm going to ask you to use your back leg for this. So on the inhale, tippy toe high on the back toes. Keep the right leg steady. On the exhale, root down from your left hip towards your left heel. It does not need to reach the floor. Inhale, tippy toe, and imagine that fountaining upwards through the center line of the body. Exhale, root through your back heel. Keep your front leg stable. Again, please. And exhale to root. You're doing a great job. Now inhale, float the arms wide and just hover over your right thigh. And then lightly touch the 2 blocks as you exhale. Good, let's inhale the left foot forward. We're going to change sides. Exhale, take your right foot back. Inhale, rise up into your crescent lunge. Tippy toe on the right toes. Exhale, root from your low belly to your right hip to your right heel. It does not need to reach the floor. Good job. Inhale to go up. This is balance practice for sure. Exhale, root down. Keep your left leg steady. Do inhale to fountain upwards from your right heel, second chakra, heart, fingertips. Exhale to root into your right heel. And now inhale, sweep your arms wide and just hover over your left thigh. And then exhale, lightly touch the 2 blocks. Inhale, step forward with your right foot. And exhale to deeply bow towards your legs. Good, inhale, rise up. This time keep the heels grounded. And exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Remembering we are here practicing together. Sahana bhavatu, sahana bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavai. May we together be nourished and strengthened. Now we're going to continue to add to the Sun Salutation. With the heels grounded, sweep your hands down, wide and up. And then exhale and cascade forward and down, much like a waterfall. Inhale, glide forward through your heart like a river past the crown of your skull. With your exhale, this time take your left foot back. As we just did, inhale, rise to your crescent lunge and tippy toe on the back foot. Now this time, exhale, rotate to warrior 2. We're going to hold steady. And I'm going to give you some instruction here on how to work with your own nervous system. First, check that your heels are both planted. The left foot is turned slightly forward towards your right foot. Root your tailbone down. So there's a sense of tone across the low abdomen, and that supports this water element here to move upwards like a fountain. And so now I'm going to ask you to practice tuning into your nervous system and checking to see if you inhale and raise both arms up, what is the influence of that in your inner ecology? And if you exhale and take both arms slowly wide and also down like a gentle slope towards the floor, what is the influence of that on your nervous system? And now you have to choose, keeping the legs steady. Does your mind and your nervous system need the arms to be more down, like a waterfall heading from the heart past the fingertips? Does the mind need the arms to be more like a vast ocean, stretching left to right? Or like a fountain, rising upwards? You get to decide. And I'd like you to really decide in relationship with your nervous system. And this means knowing yourself. We call that self-study or svadhyaya in Sanskrit. No choice is a bad choice. The choices can be explored. The next time that you're about to exhale, then wherever the arms happen to be, bring them down to the 2 blocks you have on your mat. Pivot your left heel up, and please step your left foot forward. And then exhale and cascade down towards your thighs. Inhale, glide your heart forward like a river, moving smoothly. Let's exhale the right foot back, keep the left heel grounded. Rise up to your crescent lunge and tippy toe on the right toes. Now, keeping your left knee pointing straight on, rotate over to Warrior 2. And don't just decide for yourself that there was once a stick figure of Warrior 2 or a photograph of Rodney Yee doing Warrior 2 and it looks only like that. Instead, stabilize your lower body and with dedication to the quality you had in your meditation bowl, ask yourself, where do the arms most support your practice today? If you could keep your balance, it's okay to close your eyes and actually run the experiment on the inside. Generally speaking, the arms being up is more for raising energy, needing a little bit of rajas, upward energy. Arms down is more for grounding energy, needing a little bit more tamas, that which is more still. And arms wide is more for the sattvic horizon, an expansive kind of energy. And you'll need something different day to day. So listen for where your body wants to be for the next couple of breath cycles. And do keep the legs steady so your mind and your brain are not distracted by what your legs are navigating, steady like the earth. And as your next exhale begins, then windmill your arms over to touch the 2 blocks. This time, pivot your right heel up, set the blocks aside, and please step backwards to downward dog pose. And in your downward dog pose, I'm going to bring you back to a little bit of pranayama here. So I'd like you to inhale through the nose, also exhale through your nose. So try to start sensing the rhythm of your breath and ask yourself if you can balance your inhale with your exhale. Stabilize your arms so the index fingers are grounded and the outer triceps ought to be strong and rotating in towards your nose. That will help to broaden your shoulder blades. And see if the breath can reach into the back of your sacrum, the back of your waist. With your next inhale, please come forward to plank pose. And then exhale to knees, chest, and chin pose, which means touch your knees down, bring your heart down, bring your chin down. And then scoot forward in preparation for cobra pose. So in your cobra pose, please point your toes. And with your inhalation, roll up like a fountain of water up through the heart, your eyes, the crown of your skull. And then exhale and flow down as if you were sending a river downstream. So on the inhale, when you roll up, imagine the quality that you came to in meditation, rising up to your heart. And when you exhale, imagine sending downstream whatever would distract or hijack your practice. Inhale, roll up, so that quality rises into your heart like a fountain. And exhale to glide down, sending downstream that which would not support your practice right now. One more time, please. Moving like water. Exhale to roll down. And then with your hands beneath your shoulders, please press up to table pose and reach back to child's pose using a block to put under your forehead. And when you get to child's pose, place your attention down in the low belly in the second chakra. And here you can kind of reflect on the quality that came for you in the meditation. Just let it rest there in the low belly. It's becoming more clear. And giving permission for that quality to be something that you can express, you can continue your dedication to. Now I'm going to ask you to walk your hands back towards your knees. And please rise up to kneeling. And then come up to sitting. So you can watch me. I'm going to show you how we use the chair for the first practice that we'll do with the chair. So I'm going to put this on my yoga mat, and I'm placing it so that you're going to see my profile. So in other words, the mat is actually lengthwise for you, and I'm going to be sitting sideways on this chair. So when I take a seat, I'm going to turn to my right, so my right foot goes flat on the floor, and then take the left foot back like this. And what we're looking for is a stretch that happens through here across the hip flexors that we can stay with for some time. So let me explain a few things, and that you might need a couple of yoga blocks. When you first step into this position, I'm going to recommend you've got your right thigh set, your left hip is not on the chair, and the left leg is straight back behind you. And then try pressing down into your blocks to roll your torso up so that you're really strongly taking the tailbone down here. I don't want you to overarch your lower back in response to this. When you come up, if you have relatively good control over this juncture, then you've got the low belly sweeping in and the tailbone going down, and you are greeting your left hip flexors joyfully. If what happens is you come up and you feel like it's mostly that you're arching your lower back extensively, then please bend your left knee, root your tailbone, keep this really stable, and then start to slowly straighten your left leg without having to go completely straight. And keeping that steady, now sweep your left arm up. So if the pelvis is really sincerely upright, you're going to have the ability to engage in a little back bend of the heart. If your pelvis is tipped forward, so you sense that you're actually spilling the low belly onto your lap, it'll be very hard to make this back bend in the heart. If you have your balance, you can also raise your right arm up. And so breathing in. And if you raise your right arm, lower that one down and float your left arm forward. Bring your torso forward. Return to the two blocks if you are using them. And bring your left knee down to step it to meet your right. And then switch sides. So there are some specifics here that I'm recommending, and it's because I can't see all of you like really precisely at this time. And I know that some of you on the call have a hip replacement, as do I. So I'm also being thoughtful about that. So here we are facing the left thigh on the chair seat. And you're going to bend forward first so that your right hand comes to your blocks. Place your left hand on the chair, perhaps on the upper back of the chair. And then as you press down into the blocks, root your tailbone, tone the low belly like you do in cat pose. Begin the process of discernment so that when you come upright, you can really sense the openness is meant to be at the front of your right hip flexors here. If what you're finding is that you're mostly overarching your lower back, then I'm going to ask you to bend the right knee, establish your pelvis with sincerity, and then start taking the right leg slowly back. Now, some of you are sitting on a chair and you're quite a bit taller than I am, and the chair might seem too short. It is a good idea to raise the chair seat. You can do that with a couple of blankets. When you find your place, then please inhale and raise your right arm high. And if you have your balance, you may choose to also raise your left arm high. Imagine the fountaining that goes from the second chakra moving upwards. We are also stretching your psoas right now, and that is such an important muscle for navigating the fight, flight, freeze, stress response in the body. As you exhale, begin the process of coming forward with your right arm and your torso. You may touch the blocks for stability. Bring your right knee down, your right foot up to meet your left, and then pivot to face forward. Okay, so I can see some of you. How are you doing? You can say thumbs up. You can say, oh my God. You can hang your head. You can say like this. Okay, thank you. So that's a way of addressing the hip flexors and providing ourselves with a longer standing back bend, which we're looking at that fountaining upwards quality to do that. So now we're going to add a gentle twist to that, and let me speak to my friends who have hip replacements. We are not crossing the arm deeply over the front knee of the hip replacement leg. In that case, I'm going to ask you to keep your hand on your blocks on the floor. So I'm going to turn my chair so you can see this, and I can see you seeing me. So I'll put my right thigh on the chair first because we like to twist to the right and for the left to support the ascending colon. Okay, so then I take the left leg back like this. This is my hip replacement side, so I place my left hand firmly on this block for support, and the right hand here to twist into the upper back while keeping the left leg completely established behind me. For those of you for whom you enjoy this idea and you don't have a hip replacement, you can hook your left elbow over your right knee and hold the leg of the chair like this. Now, I happen to have a hip replacement apparatus that has the stability for this position, so I'm giving the general recommendation for hip replacements, and you see me taking the regular or sort of intermediate pose because I do trust my apparatus. So this is a pose to breathe into the low belly, the second chakra. And it is a pose of compression. You might feel the compression of your body in the twist, your thigh, your abdomen. Do your best to bring that quality into your breath and down into the low region of your belly. In twisting, we are aiming to stack the right shoulder sort of over the left shoulder or in that direction. And then we're going to exhale to release the twist, gazing down. Rise up to sitting, face forward on your chair. I'll be facing backwards. Notice the echo in your experience. And then turn yourself about to the other side. So you've got your left thigh on the chair. Good job. Step the right leg back. Place a block for your right hand for any reason, but especially if you have a hip replacement. And the block goes on the floor on the inside of your left ankle. Place your left hand on the upper back of the chair and begin your twist. And for anyone for whom it's enjoyable, it adds to your experience, and it's within reach this afternoon, you can hook your right elbow over your left knee. And enjoy the support of the twist with the chair, with your intention. And the support that you're actually getting from each other right now. If you're feeling challenged, you are definitely not alone. If you're feeling extraordinary, you are also not alone. If you're in the middle there somewhere, you too have company. Enjoying the twist one more time. And then follow your exhale to release from your pose and spin about to face forward. Place your feet flat on the floor and pause there for a few moments so you have a little reflective meditation moment. Notice what's moving in the low region of the belly. Sometimes in twisting poses, we are squeezing one thing out, but that also allows us to make room for something else to enter our awareness. So this is a good time to ask yourself, what is it you're most deeply longing for? And then sitting on your chair, please hold the seat of the chair with your left hand and tip your right ear towards your right shoulder. Bring your chin in towards your throat. So that was, the last pose was really for what we call Surya. It's heating. This is a cooling pose, a Chandra pose, more reflective. So as you tip your right ear towards your right shoulder, guide your attention down, of course, into the sensations of the left side of your neck, but also down into the low belly. And just check on the pace and the quality of being breathed. And then you can make this gentle movement according to your own neck. We have right now the right ear towards the right shoulder. Let's alternate between moving your nose towards your shoulder and then rotating back to your ear towards the shoulder. It's a really gentle glide, keeping your head on the diagonal to the right. Glide between your right ear towards your shoulder and then your nose or your chin towards your shoulder. And please do that a couple times more. Allow your reflective mind, the Chandra mind, to come through. As you next bring your head so that it's facing forward, then release your left hand, float your head up to center, And rest a moment to notice your body recalibrating. We have been having the full moon, and if you were a body of water, that moon would be reflecting the sun in the far off distance, the reflection down to your body of water. Imagine how you would receive that reflection. And take your right hand to hold the chair seat and bring your left ear down towards your left shoulder, and your chin in towards your throat. And notice the current of the breath, that which is breathing you right now. And you can think of it as being breathed in the same way that the moon has no light source of her own. She is reflecting the sun. We too are being breathed by something much larger than we are. Okay, start rotating so you've got your left ear towards your left shoulder and alternate with the chin towards your left shoulder. And in this diagonal movement as you're going along, try to keep it relatively gentle. Look for the places where there's smoothness. Respect the places where it seems to be a little bit crinkly in your neck. And please do that one more time. And when your head returns towards center, then allow it to float back up. And once more pause to give yourself the inner feeling of simply being breathed. And imagine yourself as a body of water receiving the reflection of the moon, which is reflecting the sun. And then we're going to put the chair aside, and we're going to be coming down to the floor. You will need a blanket or two that are folded. So if you take a folded blanket, I'm going to show this while I'm standing because I think you'll see it better. So I open this from the storage fold, like this. And then I'm going to fold it in half, long side to long side, like this. Now it looks like so. And then I'm going to fold that in half again, so that I have this. And if you had an interest in folding that once more, what some of you have, excuse me, some of you started with your blanket pretty wide open, so it might not be this dimension. Let's try to imagine the dimension that I have. You guys know that I'm 5'1", more or less. You know that I'm short, and I'm holding this between my two hands right now. So this blanket is maybe 4 feet long, not much more than that. And I'm saying that because I want you to have a certain thickness to your blanket. So if you ended up with an 8-foot long blanket, it's going to be not very thick in this case. Okay, and then please watch me here. I'm going to sit on the blanket. Yes, that's like a little breaking the rules. I'm sitting on the blanket, not in front of it. So now when I lie down, I want this part of the blanket under my head to curl. And that's the blanket I have remaining. So my blanket starts at my sacrum, and this last part of the blanket I curled to go just under my head. And then take the arms out in a T shape like this, please. Turn your palms face up. And close your eyes and let your attention come down into the lower belly, into the second chakra. As you sense this body of water receiving the reflection of the moon in the night sky, you can place your hands on the low belly, asking, for what do you most deeply long? And see what might come. Sometimes we ask the questions in the darkness of the night with the full moon. We're able to ask of our deeper longings, those which are obscured during the bright light of the day, we get to see in the nighttime. So imagine this body of water in the night with the moon reflecting upon it. What is it for which you are most deeply longing? Now place your hands palms face down alongside your blanket. And we're going to be doing a little practice here that might challenge your brain and your breathing. It's a cross crawl practice, and it will require some tone in the low belly, right in the second chakra. So with your inhale, lift your left knee and take your right arm overhead. Now during the exhale, change sides. Inhale, switch again, so you're scissoring. Exhale to scissor, to change sides. Try to synchronize the movement of the fingers and the toes, so you're going smoothly at the pace of your breath cycle. And actually, the slower the breath, the stronger the inner movement, the more this may benefit your mind and your brain in preparation for meditation or shavasana. You might start noticing if one arm or shoulder feels more limber than the other when you go overhead. You might start noticing if the arms and legs have stayed in a true cross-crawl pattern. That means that when your right knee is up, so is your left arm. Or if you've gotten your cross-crawl pattern a little bit backwards, sometimes that indicates that you've been stressed or anxious, or the hemispheres of your brain got a little cattywampus. So this cross-crawl is to help bring that back online. Please continue with the smoothness of your breath for about 4 breath cycles more. It's helpful if your lower back is not arching up off of your blanket, that you're in fact truly keeping that down. And the next time you complete a cycle with an exhale, then bring your hands back down to rest on the low belly. Place both feet flat on the floor with your knees bent. And see if you can sense any possibility of quiet happening in the deep low belly or in the mind. And then roll to your side to put your blanket aside. So we're going to finish with a yoga twist that we call the windshield wiper pose. Funny that I'm talking about water, and it's called windshield wiper pose. You use the windshield wipers in the rain. So what you're going to do here when you lie down, you're going to want the arms to go out into a T shape, and the knees will be going down to one side like windshield wipers. So that means that your feet start as wide as the yoga mat. And the arms go out in a T shape. And then let's take both knees down to the right. Let the left thigh reach the floor if it comfortably does. If it doesn't, go ahead and put a blanket under it. And then reach from your left hip into your left knee. So let the left butt be toned and engaged. You're really stretching out and lengthening through the left thigh. And rotate your heart and your left shoulder and your head to the left. And allow the breath to come down into the low region of the belly. We have a word for dedication or intention, and we have this inquiry about longing. Right now I'm going to ask you to stay with the question of what you might mostly, very deeply be longing for, and sense that as something from the low belly itself. And maybe you're most deeply longing for, human kindness or harmony. Probably your deepest longing is not for an Oreo cookie. That would be called a craving. We don't want to confuse cravings with deep longing. And sometimes we're just deeply longing for relief. If you've been in pain, you've had some angst, maybe some insomnia, of course, you might be just longing for relief. And then there's a deeper longing beneath that one. So staying with this inquiry, please roll your knees up to center and then down to your left side. And activate your right hip so you are lengthening your right thigh towards your right knee. The knees are not stacked in this twist. Rotate your right shoulder open towards the floor. And rotate your head to your right if you'd like to do so. And allow the breath and also your mind's eye, your attention to be in the low belly, as if this body of water were reflecting in the night sky, the moonlight, from the far distant sun. And we can ask of the darker nighttime, what are we most deeply longing for? It was Rumi who said, "Stars burn clear all night till dawn. Do that, and a spring will rise in your chest. With water, your deepest thirst is for." Stars burn clear all night till dawn. Do that, and a spring will rise in your chest. With water, your deepest thirst is for. Now please rotate your knees back up to center and prepare for your Shavasana. And what might be nice today, since you have a chair, is to elevate your legs on the chair seat. That'll make like a little waterfall pose, which we've been using in our afternoon practices sometimes. When you come to your seat, remind yourself that, or your Shavasana, that this is the most important pose in your whole practice. Your Shavasana is the most important pose in the whole practice. And set yourself up, perhaps with your shins elevated on your chair seat. And get settled there. If you'd like to, you can cover the eyes, if that helps you to have a little quieter mind. And let's imagine this waterfall pose now, that the body of water to which I'm referring in the pelvis, that it becomes very still. The waterfall is not causing a lot of activity. This is a very tranquil place in nature. And resting your attention in that water element, allow your entire body to sense the tranquility that water is in nature. Imagine on the surface of this water, the ripples only that they have faded and they keep fading. They don't emerge. The magic waterfall where the water comes down and from underneath it keeps replenishing this body of water and it remains clear and reflective to reflect the nighttime moon. Sana Bhavatu Saviryam Karavai Tejasvina Vanitamastu Mavirvisha Allow your mind to rest deeply, reflectively, the surface of the water like a mirror, seeing the full moon in the night sky. Sana Bhavatu Sana Bhunaktu Saviryam Kavai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Mavirvisha Now thoughtfully over the next few moments, welcome a slightly deeper breath in. And you can gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. And please quietly bend your knees. And roll to your side as you transition. Rest there before returning up to sitting. You can clasp your hands again in this little meditation bowl at the belly. When you clasp your hands there and you're having that little meditation bowl, remember again that everyone else is bringing some intention right now into this practice. They share this path with you. I'm going to ask you to practice the last line of that chant with me. The words are Va Vidvisha Vahai. It means may we not go to animosity, impatience, or hatred with each other. And it goes like this. You can watch just for a moment. Ma Vidvisha Vahai. So it's these 5 chakras, right? Starting here. Ma Vidvisha Vahai. Once more. Ma Vidvisha Vahai. And please bring your hands together at your heart. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. So I'll speak for a few moments with you. You may come towards your camera if you like. What I want to share about, I'm going to see if I can make this work, and then we'll track that camera. Probably I can't do that. Let me see. Oh, maybe I can. Probably not. Let me get my seat, please. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, it's a little bit weird. I have a different setup today. So what I wanted to speak about for just a few moments is that sometimes when we ask in the darkness of the night, like, what am I most deeply longing for? We can equate that with asking for the shadow to be a part of the response. And what I mean by that is not that you're asking like shadow stuff so much to emerge, but that we have stored in the shadow things that are essential. So occasionally we store something in the shadow because we learned to be timid about it a long time ago. Maybe it didn't have a freedom of expression in our particular human circle. So when we're asking for what do we most deeply long, we ask during the daytime, sometimes we get the responses from Surya, from the sun. I long to be productive. I long for this vibrancy. And I long to have a contribution. Wonderful, beautiful. When we ask the moon, the Chandra, the dark night, and that reflective place, we might get something different emerging. And so it's just a way of asking the question to let something that might not come during the brightness of the day, it could come in the darkness of the night. Are you following okay what I'm saying? Yeah. And at the same time, if something has been stored in the shadow, thank you, Joe, I can see that. if something has been stored and it greets you today, you might feel like, oh dear, oh my goodness. Like you could have a little feeling of surprise. And maybe you don't know how you'll express that thing for which you're longing because it hasn't yet been practiced much. But I encourage us to be surprised right now. In this, of course, we're massively surprised by everything happening on the planet, but that would be a kind of like an underworld surprise of something that wants to emerge into your awareness right now. Okay, is this making some sense? All right. Okay, we have a couple of hands up, and I'm gonna ask for some help. If you raised your hand, so one is Linda, you can please unmute yourself and let me know what your question is.
My question just